Greetings, all you wizards out there. Duuz-Diz-Din, back again with more fairy tale, The 100 Years Quest. Previously, we had a heart-to-heart with Celine, informing Elf and Sarah, the members of Fairy Tale as well as the members of the Diablos Guild, that her wish is essentially an end to the bloodshed, the feud between dragons and humans. Elf and Sarah's grudge comes from the loss of friends 100 years ago. Celine's grudge comes from the loss of friends and families as well. A very hard thing to look past. But Celine ultimately says that it's moot, as she herself will be dying soon. As it turns out, the wounds that dragons receive from one another aren't easily mended, explaining why dragons so seldom do battle with each other. So Celine is living on borrowed time, much to my eternal despair. My personal hope, she be cured at some point, as the Diablos Guild has seemingly fully accepted her, with even Suzaku looking to apologize to Celine. It almost feels as though they spent some time together that I'm just not privy to. However, that's not the end of things, as an unexpected meeting takes place. The spirit of Irene, who possesses Wendy's body, makes contact with Celine, Urza's mother, the creator of Dragon Slayer magic. What could these two fearsome women, who currently are essentially the living dead, have to talk about? And will it hopefully be a helpful boon to our hero? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, Fairy Tale, The 100 Years Quest, Chapter 121, The Pair's Wish. So, the wish of Irene and Celine? A cute little moment with Irene, I guess looking at baby Urza. She feels her mother's warmth, even if it transcends time and space. Interesting. We see Irene talking to Celine. Irene, interestingly enough, clothed this time. Usually her spirit form appears very naked. But Suzaku, unable to see Irene, is perplexed, saying, "How odd. Is there someone there?" Irene gives a wry smile, and Celine gives one back, saying, "It's someone like a spirit." Suzaku comments, "I see. It's just like Wraith then. And yet, why can I see nothing?" That's actually a good point. Wraith could be seen by Dragon Slayers as a whole. Why is it that Irene... I mean, it's one thing for her to appear only to Wendy, but why can Celine see her? Maybe because she's, not long for this world? Celine teases Suzaku by saying, "It's a naked woman. Care to see?" Suzaku blushes and protects his eyes, saying, "How embarrassing. Then I shall take my leave. Do take your time." And Suzaku goes scampering off. Oh, she even comments on that, saying, Irene says, "Oh dear, and here I tried wearing clothes today. Do I look naked?" Celine simply says, "No, it was just a joke." "So, who are you? You've been inside Wendy all this time." Okay, so she detected that. Irene says, "Not bad. You caught on to me." This is a meeting I didn't know I needed. I love this. I would absolutely watch a spin-off series of these two. Irene says, "My name is Irene Belsarion." I love her last name. It's hard to pronounce sometimes, though. Celine says, "Belsarion? A dragon's name?" Celine informs her, "It's a surname I took from Belsarion the Sage Dragon." Oh, did we know that? Wait, no. That was her mentor, right? Belsarion the Sage Dragon. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we knew that. Celine thinks, Sage Dragon. Come to think of it, Elf and Sarah also called himself the Law Dragon. Irene says, Belsarion appeared in an old book handed down among humans, didn't he? Of course, it's only natural when it comes to studying Dragon Slayer magic. After all, he was the dragon involved with the first Dragon Slayers. But I have no idea about this law dragon business. The old man doesn't look very wise to me. Oh, dang. Shade. Celine says, "You have a point there. Yes, I remember. 400 years ago, there was a country's queen who invented Dragon Slayer magic." You gotta love how she just treats that as a novel concept she's just remembering. It's like, oh yeah, the person who invented Dragon Slayer magic. Oh, okay, that was the thing. Celine says, there were rumors of a mother of Dragon Slayer magic. So you've been wandering for 400 years, have you? Irene comments, no. There are many different reasons for how this happened, but I'll spare you the details. I lost my body and enchanted my persona onto Wendy. Celine questions, can you and Wendy coexist? Irene says, I suppose. Like, I would hope you can coexist. Cut to Wendy sleeping peacefully. Celine then sighs and says, then there's no need for my unfinished business, is there? What was her unfinished business? Yeah, even Irene questions, what do you mean? Celine comments, all this time Wendy had tremendous magic power accumulated within her. Far too much magic power for someone of her capacity. Ouch. Rude? I thought she'd been possessed by some kind of yokai, so I thought I'd use a gate to remove it in the end. Irene says, oh, so you thought I was a yokai? Celine says, if you two can coexist, then there was never an issue for me to intervene in. Aw, I don't want Celine to die. She was even thinking of just helping out too. Irene says, you were worried about Wendy? Then you are how I thought you were. I come from a country where humans and dragons lived side by side, so I understand how those dragons saw humans. This takes Celine off guard. Irene says, a dragon like you will be needed in the future. I can't afford to let you die. Yes! 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 Ah! You don't know how happy that makes me. It's like, no, she can't just die. Come on. You don't get to endear us to a character like this and have her just up and die at this point. Like, you saved Mercuphobia. You better save Celine too. Like, come on. Even if it just means her losing her dragon ability, she's still awesome. Got that queen energy. I'll say it, I really enjoy the way Mashima writes strong women. It is the biggest selling point for Fairy Tail for me personally. Unfortunately, it's balanced out by characters like Lucy and Wendy, who just don't get a lot of, like, really triumphant moments, and that makes me sad. I mean, they have their moments, but it's few and far in between sometimes. That's why I was so into Lucy's win against Kyrie, where it's just like, yes, Lucy finally won a fight! I say, knowing that Lucy has won fights previously. Let's get back to it. Celine smiles a somber smile, saying, I do not fear death. I've lived long enough. No, you haven't. Shut up. Irene says, you're wrong. I was talking about your future of living as a human. Your face was filled with hope. Ooh, there it is. The same thing that happened to Mercuphobia. There it is. Because he can't be a dragon anymore. He's lost that ability. He will now live as a human. So, essentially, why not have Celine live that same way too? Celine nervously looks away while Irene looks at her with a beautiful smile. Honestly, that smile, that panel of Irene's smile is the warmest thing I have ever felt in this series. She says, you have to live. With your power over gates and my enchant, both of our wishes will come true. The power of gates and the power of enchantment, by their powers combined? Oh, you definitely have me curious then. What is it about their powers that is so important? Fascinating. Celine questions your wish, but Irene holds her hand up and power starts to emanate from her hand. Celine, noticing that her body is glowing, questions, what? Irene then holds her hand to her chest and says, I'm enchanting myself with the curse of a dragon's wound. I'm sorry, Wendy. Bear with it for a moment. What does that mean? She's taking the pain onto herself? I mean, doesn't that... yeah, like, you see Wendy just struggling in bed. That doesn't sound like a good idea. Celine says, a wound enchantment? Irene tells her, alright, your life is connected to mine. Now listen to my wish. Celine is in dismay, saying, wait, if you can do that, wouldn't it suffice to give the wound to some scoundrel lying around? Hey, ain't nobody got time for that. Irene says, it's not that simple. I can only give the wound to myself, or rather to Wendy in this case. Dang, Wendy, getting the shaft when you're not even awake. Irene, looking greatly in pain, says, I'm temporarily separated from Wendy right now. During that time, I will take myself to another world through a gate. Oh. Celine says, if you do that, you'll die. Oh, I see what this is. So... dang, I was actually hoping both of them would be able to live. So Irene's taking the wound from Celine, and she'll just die essentially. That way Wendy will be free of her, and Celine will get to live. I don't know how I feel about that. That's kind of a bummer to me. Yeah, Celine says you'll die. Irene just gives her a smile right back, and Celine says, that is your wish? Irene says, I'm already dead, but because of this magic power, Not even death will be the end of me. In that sense, I'll be just like a yokai. Wait, what does that mean? Death won't be the end of me. So she'll live even. I mean, what does that mean? Oh, the magical power that'll exist within Wendy? It feels weird to have someone who has died die a second time while being essentially a spirit, and yet she'll say she'll live on. Yeah, she's definitely Urza's mother. Irene says, just before you were talking about your child, right? I also had a daughter, and yet I despised my daughter, and even tried to kill her. I truly was a horrible mother. At the end of my life, I was finally able to regain a sliver of motherly feeling for her. The one measly thing I could take pride in. Selene is shocked by this. Irene continues saying, by remaining in this world with this form, against my own expectations, I continue to see my daughter. And Irene has essentially been kind of journeying with them up until this point, flashing back to Urza's greatest hits during the 100 Years quest, and Irene with tears in her eyes says, I realized the magnitude of what I tried to steal, and how great my sins were. Oh no, that's kind of a bummer. Urza didn't even get to know that her mother was around like this. I don't know, maybe it's for the best? I don't know, this is a rough one. Selene questions, shouldn't you continue to watch over her? Irene says, I can't do that. I have no right to be a mother. Besides, if things go on like this, it will poorly affect Wendy. Okay. That's why I want you to kill me. You're the only one who can. I don't know. I don't really want her to go out this way, honestly. Selene pauses, but then says, I won't hesitate, you know. Bitch, I won't hesitate! And Irene simply says, that's why I'm asking you. Selene sighs and says, so you die to atone for your sin. But Irene says, not quite. In order to prove myself as a mother, I can't pretend that I didn't die back then. So essentially it's that continued want to do something good. Selene simply says, I see. Irene says, thank you, Selene. Selene says, thank you, Irene. And Selene then warps Irene away. And as Wendy's struggling in bed comes to an end and she peacefully falls asleep, tears well up in her eyes. As Irene says, thank you for everything, Wendy. Even if it's another world, there's no meaning in a place with magical power. I guess Selene says, why is that? Irene says, it's because my magic power is too great. While carrying this wound, I would also give to someone who did no wrong. I would likely die, but at the same time, I would be killing someone else. Do you know a world where my enchantments can't be used? Selene says, yes, I know just the place. Irene, as she's being transported, says, with this, it's finally over. I will disappear. Urza, live strong for me. Oh, Adolis. Okay, so I guess that makes sense because they no longer have magical power there. But what does that mean that she's being transported here? We then cut to Sugar Boy in the palace, just gliding around, going, Hughes is pissed off, saying, could you, totally stay still for a sec? Sugar Boy says, I can't help myself, as he continues to glide around on the ground. Hughes is pissed, saying, you're totally annoying. Then Byro approaches them, saying, both of you, quiet down. We then see Mistigan, Jalal, whatever you want to call him, enter through the door, as they all exclaim, Your Highness! And Mistigan smiles. Byro says, oh, you mean... He says, Tully. Oh! I get what's happening here. Really? Sugar says, a boy or a girl? Jalal turns and says, it's a girl. Her name is, and Urza Nightwalker, holding her newborn baby, says, Irene. Holy shit. I feel very mixed about that. I mean, it is a kind of nice end for Irene to do something good right up into the end, but it just, I don't know, it kind of feels like Mashiro just wanted to write her out. I thought it was a kind of cool thing to have her just hanging around with Wendy and all that, but I guess he figured out a way of just getting her the atonement that she wanted, but I don't know. I feel so mixed about it because she felt like this entity that, there should have been some kind of parting between her and Wendy and Urza, and for her to just disappear through no effort of Urza or Wendy any involvement of them. It's literally while they're asleep. I think that's the reason why it's so odd to me, because it's just like Wendy, it happens with Wendy having no knowledge of it. Urza never even knew that her mother was watching over her. And that just kind of feels like a shame to me, like you missed out on a big opportunity. Yeah, nah, this one, I feel mixed on, because I'm glad Celine was saved, but I don't know, it's kind of a bummer to me. I just expected things to go a little bit further with Irene, you know? I don't mind this happening. It's actually a kind of a cute thing for reincarnation, her getting another chance at life, to love and be loved. It gives us another glimpse at Adonis, which, we had previously glimpsed before, and we had the setup with Mystigan and Nightwalker together. I don't hate it, but I feel like we missed out on something interesting we could have done involving Urza and Wendy. It's her just popping up to Celine like that. I don't know. That's kind of a bummer to me. Man. I want to be happy that Celine gets to live. I really do, but something about the way it was done just isn't vibing with me. I'm sorry. I wish it was. Well, interested to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this turn of events? Are you like me, wishing that Wendy and Urza had at least gotten to know about Celine's sacrifice, said goodbye, something, anything? Do you feel like it was a missed opportunity like I did, or are you fine with this happening? Are you just happy to have Irene gone? Are you happy that Celine's alive? And it's wild. I mean, essentially, Irene, my theory that Irene was somehow going to come back to life kind of came true, but not in a way that I was expecting. I don't think anyone could have really expected anything like this. I'm very interested in comments, but hey, that's the end of that. I'm gonna miss the dynamic between her and Wendy too. Ah, man, I don't know. Oh, hey, remember to like, subscribe, bell, all that good YouTube stuff. Or don't. I ain't your daddy, but I still love you like one, and I would love it if you did. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.